Hi everybody, it's Jen. Welcome back to my channel, Hallmark Plus More, where we watch and talk about shows, movies, mysteries, Hallmark ornaments, and anything else that floats our boat. So today I'm going to be reviewing Elsbeth Season 2, Episode 8. It stars Carrie Preston and it airs on CBS. So before I get into the review, I just want to say thank you to everybody who likes, subscribes, watches my videos. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. So this episode starts out on a set. It looks like the show is called Father Crime, and it's a show about a priest who solves murders with a detective or a partner from the police department. So definitely interesting, not one that I would think of, but and you see the actress Regina, and she's the one who's partnered with the priest, and it looks like this show's been on the air for over 20 years. So these two characters have been teaming up in solving crimes for a long time, and you see Regina, the actress there, kind of argue with Cal, and Cal Reed is the showrunner. He makes all the final decisions. People don't like him. Most people don't like him. But you see him kind of argue with Regina, and she's kind of angry. And you'll recognize Regina. She's a famous actress, Laurie Metcalf, and she does great in this episode. So I'm like, okay, she's going to commit the murder. Cal's the one who's going to die, and he does. She kills him with a high heel, a stiletto heel in his eye. And I was like, oh, that's painful. So then, you kind of have to see, and she's worked on a crime show for 20 years. So, she knows how to do everything. She sets herself up with an alibi. She creates a distraction. She hires an ice cream truck for the cast and crew. And so they're all outside so that nobody can see her when she's very planned out, I mean, she's on a fake cop show, but she's still doing everything. She's learned how to plan evidence. She even has somebody to take the fall. And his name is Blake, and he is just a fan, just somebody on set, a background actor, and he makes up scripts and gives ideas for the show. And apparently a lot of the fans want the priest and the detective to kind of be in a romantic involvement, which most cop shows are. They get involved with the person they're helping. That comes into play too, the script. But yeah, it's definitely interesting. Elsbeth kind of figures out early on, yeah, Regina did it, but then, they have evidence of Blake because she set him up. So then they kind of got to work through that. And it was just a great episode. Lori is an amazing actress, so to watch her play Regina, and, it was great. It was just nice to kind of see her think she outsmarted everybody and kind of have her play that villain. It was wonderful. There's a little bit of talk with Kayla where she talks to Elsbeth because they're friends. She had mentioned, it was nice that Teddy came to town, Elsbeth's son. And then she mentioned the jury duty. And when she mentioned it, Elsbeth kind of drifted off, right? She kind of just like dazed for a second. I think that's just her thinking about Judge Crawford and like, how is this going to go? So she went back because she's still trying to, figure out what happened because she kind of suspects he did it, right? The murder from the last case. So she calls Delilah, which is the woman that was on trial, and convinces her like, hey, we need to go to the courthouse and get the transcript from the case. And she's like, I'm not sure I can do this. And Elsbeth is like, I already filled out the paperwork. All you got to do is go up and say you want the written transcript. And the lady behind the counter was like, who's the judge? She said Crawford. And the lady kind of gave her a strange look. So I was like, yeah, Crawford's going to figure it out. Like, I just knew right away, Elsbeth isn't requesting it, she is, but he's going to pick up on that. Crawford is very smart. He's a bad man, but he's powerful and smart. So I knew at some point it's going to get back to him, even though Elsbeth is looking over the transcript. So getting back a little bit to the case, Regina is leaving in a week to play a role of Lady Macbeth in London. So, I guess Cal, the person she killed, agreed that she would go into a coma for a couple episodes and kind of give her time to do Lady Macbeth. And I don't know if Cal went back on that, or there was talk of a new ending. So there's a little bit of friction there. So Elsbeth is definitely trying to find out how to kind of pin it on Regina, because she knows Regina did it. So it's definitely interesting how that goes about. And one of the things that Regina's alibi was that she was rehearsing lines in her trailer. But right before that, they said, oh, we're making changes to the script, which I guess is common in shows. They're always changing it. And they said, we don't want you to say corpse. We want you to say cadaver. And when she was rehearsing her lines, the assistant was like, I thought it was odd because she said corpse. And she's usually really good when we have revisions and rewrites. So that made me think, yeah, because it was pre-recorded, right? Because she's getting her alibi. So that's also another way to say, like, yeah, this was definitely, she thought about it. And he was having a massage appointment. So somebody canceled the massage appointment, obviously, because Regina went in and killed him. But it had a weird accent, the lady said. So now they're trying to figure out who canceled the appointment. And of course, they find out later it's Regina, right? So, that's interesting too. Apparently she's terrible at dialect. She's terrible at accents. And Cal and her dialect coach had been kind of like dubbing over her accents on the show because she's so terrible for 20 years and she never knew. So she's mad at Cal for not letting her do other movies and other, plays and other adventures and other things, and it's because Cal knows she really is terrible at accents and has been dubbing over her and not telling her. So it's almost like he's doing her a favor, because if she does go and does something else, she's going to be embarrassed and that's going to hurt the show. So Cal kind of was doing it to protect her, so to speak, even though she's a grown woman. And I feel like you need to tell her, because look, maybe if you told her, she wouldn't have killed you. I mean, so that was interesting, right? So they finally have enough to arrest Regina, and they do. And then Captain Wagner actually goes to talk to Elsbeth, because Captain Wagner had a discussion with Judge Crawford. Basically, hey, can you get a message to Elsbeth? And, Captain Wagner was like, okay, this is cryptic. Like, why do you want me to get a message to her? And I think that's just Crawford saying to Elsbeth, I know you got the transcript and I know you're coming after me, and, be prepared. You know what I mean? So, of course, when Captain Wagner talks to Elsbeth, he's like, look, I know you're up to something. The last time you were this cagey, you were investigating me. So what's going on? And I love Captain Wagner. I think he's a great actor, and I love his character, I hope it comes around that people start to like him again. I know he's trying to do stuff to kind of boost morale. But basically, when Captain Wagner confronts her, Elsbeth goes, okay. And she pulls out the transcript and basically says, you're going to think I'm crazy. And then, so Elsbeth tells Captain Wagner everything, what she thinks. And meanwhile, a little side story, when they at the very beginning of the show, when they find the dead body, the medical examiner was overhearing Elsbeth and Kayla talking, and Kayla, was looking for a new roommate, and the medical examiner was like, hey, I'm looking for a place to stay. And Elsbeth was like, ooh, a cute doctor. And Kayla was a little hesitant, but all the applicants have been kind of odd, or they have some characteristic or some trait where Kayla's like, no. So basically at the end of the episode, she basically calls Cameron, is like, hey, if you're still interested, I'd love to have you as my roommate. So that's going to be interesting. A possible love interest for Kayla. This cute doctor is going to be your new roommate. So that's going to be interesting. And then you go back to Captain Wagner and Elsbeth, and he goes, okay, well, I trust you. If you think he did something wrong, you're always right. Like Captain Wagner's not arguing with Elsbeth, but he does say, look, he is a very powerful man. He knows a lot of people. If you're going to go after him, you better have, you better know what you're doing, and you better have evidence, because he knows a lot of people and you don't want to mess with them. So, I think Captain Wagner is supporting Elsbeth, but he's also saying, like, beware, he's going to strike back. He's not going to be taken down easily. So, that's going to be interesting because, like I said, I read an article, he's going to be in several episodes, right? It's Carrie Preston's husband, and it's not going to be easy to take him down. So it's going to be, one of those side stories that's kind of going to be a long story that's going to take several episodes. So that's going to be really interesting. I'm really excited to kind of follow that. You have a case every episode, but now you have this kind of side story about Elsbeth trying to nail this judge, right? Nobody's above the law. Justice, I always want justice served. So I'm really looking forward to how Elsbeth takes him down, because no matter how powerful, how much money you have, you're not above the law. You're not better than anybody else. We are all, we all bleed. We all have bills. We all struggle. We all have to eat. We all have to pay rent. So, I like the way Elsbeth sees that too, especially with her relationship with Kayla when they were living together. Like, hey, Kayla was like, I want to pay rent. Like, I want to make sure, even though we're friends, that. So I like that. They bring social justice. Not everybody is the same. Everybody's different, but nobody's better than anybody else. So I'm looking forward to how Elsbeth takes down her real life husband, how she takes down Judge Crawford. So I mentioned that Kayla called Cameron, the medical examiner, and basically said, I want you to be my roommate. But as she's doing that, you can see the TV screen. And I had mentioned this in previous videos. They kind of have this case. So she moved from Chicago to New York. And you've seen a couple episodes or just a little snippets about she was on a legal team. Van Ness legal team, which is a group of lawyers. Elsbeth was one, and it was a pop star True Rose, his divorce. So there's some speculation that there was hiding of documents or something that just wasn't up to par in that settlement. So, and Elsbeth being one of the lawyers. So you kind of see little bits of that, but you never really know the full story of why she left Chicago to come to New York. So I'm hoping they're going to explore that a little bit. But Kayla is seeing on TV, it's saying, hey, something wasn't right. Here are the lawyers. They were hiding something, or, did something that wasn't up to par. So now Elsbeth's picture is on the television for everybody to see. So Kayla is a little thrown off by that. And that's kind of how the episode ends, with her seeing that, going, wait, that's Elsbeth. And then the very last scene is Judge Crawford sitting in his office, grinning, like the Grinch, like just evil, watching the same news program, like almost like he planned it. He's kind of laughing like, ha ha ha, there's Elsbeth picture on TV. So I feel like that's him retaliating. I don't know if there was any suspicious thing going on with the case in Chicago, but Elsbeth is now on television. You know what I mean? People are going to talk. She works in a police station in New York. Captain Wagner, Kayla, they're all going to come at her, not in a bad way, but like, hey, what's going on? We saw your picture on TV. What's going on? You're a part of that legal team. Now it's in the news. So this is going to shake up the police department a little bit, because now, everybody's going to want to know what's going on with Elsbeth. And you're going to have to explore that case in Chicago. Now, I don't know if that is a legit case or if this is just Judge Crawford bringing up, right? He knows she got the transcript. He knows that she's trying to do something, or, and he's trying to stop her. So if that is a really something going on in Chicago, he's the one that's getting it on the television, because the way he laughed and smirked and was like, like, you're coming after me, I'm putting your picture on TV, and, I'm letting everybody know that you're, a dirty lawyer or something went down. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see the next episode. And of course, it's the holidays, so we're not going to see it until January, and the end of January, I believe, like January 30th or something. It's doesn't come back till then, but definitely going to be interesting, because I feel like Elsbeth is going to have to do some explaining, right? She's going to have to defend herself. She's such a good person, and you can tell she really sympathizes with everybody, empathy. She has all of that, and so people are going to see that. Captain Wagner, Kayla knows she's a good person, but they also are seeing the news. You're involved with this, and like I say, Judge Crawford had that something to do with it. So definitely going to be great on what's coming up in the next episode in January. But all in all, a great episode. I hope you enjoyed my review. I hope you enjoyed the show. And until next time, I will see you then. Bye.